Good afternoon, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here, and today we're having Savage Saturday 42. And what are we talking about today? We are talking about Claw the Unconquered. And what we're doing today is a series overview. This is a series that lasted 12 issues. It was scripted out for 14, two that never saw the light of day, except in a very small printed canceled comics cavalcade, which is pretty much impossible to find. I think like uh, like double digits, barely double digits were printed, so it was a really difficult thing to find. Although there was a conclusion sort of to this Claw saga in issues 49, 48, and 49 of The Warlord. So there you have it. Now, the reason I say series overview is we're going to talk about all 12 issues, but in a general sense. These aren't hard to come by. It's something you should definitely pick up and read. So we're going to make sure we kind of do non-spoilers with this because it's mostly one story arc and it's a lot of fun and it's very different than what I thought it was going to be. So the main writer of this title and who wrote the 12 issues that got published was David Michelinie, and Ernie Chan, then going as Ernie Chua in 1975, did the first 8 issues, and 9 through 12 were written by Keith Giffen. I mean, no, Keith Giffen did the art. Were written by the art was done by Keith Giffen in the last issues. But enough of that. Let's get into the overview, right? So when you see this series, the first thing you think of is Conan the Barbarian, right? DC's answer to Conan the Barbarian. What you'll pleasantly be surprised to find out is it's a vastly different individual. Look, besides looking a lot alike, their stories are really completely different, and reading one is as different as reading the other. It's really cool. The main character, Claw, who is Valcan, is his name, Valcan, has a shrouded past. So you got a lot going for this series. You have magic, you have monsters, you have a grand quest, a shadowed past, multi-dimensional threats, oracles, wizards, gods, all this in 12 issues. And monsters. The monsters are great in this. They're imaginative, they're cool looking, and they really draw you into the story. Now, our hero has a cast of characters that he's playing against the evil guys, right? And the bad guys. So you have King Oculus. I know not the most original name, but pretty cool. He's got like one yellow demony eye, and he is being controlled by these forces. Not controlled, but given the power by these forces to combat against Claw. He has a wizard working for him called Miftung, who isn't evil. He is just faithful to whoever his king is. So he's a sympathetic character you feel bad for. And his spells, his magics are being used against Claw. But the the dichotomy, the interaction between those two, you always feel bad for Miftung. He's always being mistreated by Oculus, and you can see what an oppressive person he is. And this Oculus, who works for the forces of darkness, Claw works for the forces of light, although he doesn't know it yet. He's got a connection through his past, and all that will be discovered in these 12 issues. So you have our main hero, Vulcan Claw. His family was murdered by this Oculus, and Oculus didn't know about him as a baby, but Claw's inherited this claw-like hand, this demon's hand, that his family's cursed with. And you'll learn about the curse while reading this. And it protects him, and it also tries to take him over at different points in the story. So it's really weird the way it saves him, but the way that he needs to be separate from it at the same time. So there's a lot going on, and it really makes for a complicated hero, which is nice. And Claw isn't a traditional hero. He's got a quest, and the quest is important because it's going to unlock his past. Everything about him is a shadowed memory, and he can't remember where he came from or what happened, and it's something that happened recently. And there's only one way that he can get answers, and that's by going into this other dimension and getting this special sword. and to get to this dimension, he's got to find these jewels that all fit together, these talismans, and it's a cool story. And the way he gets them all is vastly different. It's not all cut and dry. They're bad guys. I need to take it, which really makes the story kind of fresh and fun and exciting. But the main thing is he's on his own quest to uncover his past. He is the epitome of a reluctant hero. He doesn't really care about saving this world that's treated him cruelly his whole life. He doesn't care about helping other people really, which sets him pretty far apart from Conan, who is kind of like that but has a nobleman's heart inside. Claw Vulcan kind of has a selfish mission, but this mission hangs on him falling into certain circumstances which cause him to have to help people. And he's hesitant because his whole life, and you see it in some of these stories, when he goes to help someone, that person usually tries to hurt him after or kill him. So even when he's doing the noble thing, it ends up going against him. So he's disconnected from the world he lives in. And his world is called Patharia. And Patharia or Patharia, I'm not sure which is the correct pronunciation. But it's a cool inhabited place. Again, just another barbaric universe made up for our hero to reside in. And like all sci-fi stories, like all fantasy stories, they have certain elements that are in common. But there's a lot different about Claw and just the type of man he is, and just how he just wants to find out who he is. He just wants to find out who his family was. He just wants to find out why he has this cursed claw and what it means to his life. And he's not going to like the answers when he finds them. And it's going to upset him, and it's going to set him on a different path. And this singular quest is really all consuming to him. And it's a lot of fun to go on this 12-issue journey. And he meets and makes a friend on the way. And the friend's name is Gilkin. But for some reason, I want to think and I want to believe that it's a nod to Gil Kane and that they just changed the name up a little and named this character and honor him. I doubt that's the case, but as soon as I read the name, I thought of Gil Kane. Couldn't not think about it afterward. So I'd be curious if I'm gonna have to look it up. Maybe I can find some information on it. I doubt it because this was such a minor series at DC and was just really a blip on the map. Like I said, there was 14 of these issues written, but this was during the implosion that DC had back in the 70s, right? They had released something like 16 or 17 titles in 1 year, and they were going full bore ahead. And then they canceled a whole bunch, and this was one of the cancellations. And I think the comic was doing pretty well, but DC had just overexpanded and they couldn't support what they were doing. And a lot of titles fell by the wayside, like Stalker, like the first Starfire series. A lot of their sword and sorcery ones took a hit. They're definitely trying to capture some of the magic that was happening over at Marvel Comics, and they were trying to put it into the DC Comics and get their own rewards from that. The things that all companies do, they see something working for one company, they want to emulate that and also have it work for them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes your timing's off, or sometimes people just don't connect with it. But Claw was definitely refreshing. I really enjoyed it. I mostly read all 12 issues in a sitting. I read the first three, had to get busy with life and work, and then came back and read the rest. I think if you're a sword and sorcery fan, if you're a low fantasy fan, you're really going to enjoy this series. Claw is different. Claw is his own hero. He's a very, very flawed character. But it's those flaws that draw you into him and make you care about the quest he's on and make you care about what's happening in his world. And a lot of fun. So as a 12-issue series, what would I give? I would give the art, especially the first 8 issues, an A. I love Ernie Chan, who's going by his original name, Ernie Chua, in this. And then when Keith Giffen took over, the art was good, especially the spacey science fiction art. I didn't so much care for his depiction of our main hero Vulcan, but some other people may find that's more to their liking. But still, overall, the series had A art. The plot, I'm going to give an A plus because it was sustainable, it was fun. In each issue, you were engaged in the characters and in Claw and Vulcan's quest and what was happening along the way. And the monsters they came across, they were unique and they had different aspects to them, which made them fun to read about and fun to see, and fun to see them triumph over. And the quest to get these amulets or talismans, each one was a different trial, and each trial was vastly different from the other trial, which made it more fun. It wasn't just, oh, a bad guy has it, I must defeat them, and then I have it. It wasn't that at all, which made it really cool. And there is a good conclusion in this, which leaves it open for more. And the conclusion's fun. It's not so much cheery, but it is appropriate. And I think anyone that's into sword and sorcery, low fantasy, is going to love this series. I'm going to tackle the Wildstorm series next once they got the rights to Claw. And we'll see how this 6-issue miniseries is. So I've read the original DC one. I read the Red Sonja Claw crossover. Loved them both. Really good stuff. So A plus series. If you guys have never checked it out, definitely worth your time. Definitely worth your dime. You can get these all cheap. This is my near mint copy, which I'm going to send in to get graded to go with my other barbaric titles #1s. And that's it for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show. And until next time, keep it casual.